the 1.5 rule. Usually, it's advisable that the money stays in the account for 4 weeks or more. Welcome to the channel where education meets adventure and passions are transformed into lifelong lessons. Excel with Emmy. Hello guys, welcome back to Excel with Emmy, still on the F1 visa interview series. Today we are answering the question, how much do you need on your bank statement to get your visa approved? There is not a specific answer that will say you need $10,000, $20,000 to get your visa approved when you are using a bank statement. However, you want to take the amount of money. So in this case, it can be the deficit that you have to fund. Let's say your cost of attendance is $50,000 and then your deficit is $10,000. You want to take the $10,000 and multiply it by 1.5, right? Or if you don't have any funding at all and you are using solely bank statements as your form of funding, you want to take the whole $50,000 and then multiply times 1.5. This actually shows that you can fund for yourself in your first year. You can fund for yourself in the second year. The funds are available for the first year and the funds are available for the second year. So if your deficit is $10,000 and you want to know the amount of money that will be needed to be on your bank statement, you multiply 10,000 times 1.5, right? Which will be 15,000. Now, why do you need a bank statement for your F1 visa interview? It just simply means that your sponsor must be able to fund for you and they must be able to fund for themselves after funding for you. Now, let's look at how long should the money be in your account before you go for the visa interview. There is a lot of people selling bank statements here and there. Sometimes you are like, your visa is denied, and then you just think the visa officer is just there to deny people, right? Let's be honest to ourselves. In as much as we think they don't know, you are indirectly calling them dumb people if you take a fake bank statement to them expecting that your visa is granted. And so don't ever think that the visa officer is there to deny people. Let's make sure that we are providing credible bank statements. Most of these bank statements that we buy, their money is just a figure on the bank statement and it doesn't even exist in the account. And the visa officer is able to pull all this information and deny your visa, right? So if you are using a credible bank statement, how long should that money be in the bank statement for it to be considered or for your visa to be approved? Usually, it's advisable that the money stays in the account for 4 weeks or more. So we have a lot of people that will say, hey, transfer me this money into this account. I'm going for my visa interview tomorrow. And then after that, I'll give you the money back. The visa officer is able to see that the funds reached the account today, or the funds reached the account yesterday, and so they deny your visa knowing that this can be money that someone quickly transferred to you. But in the case where the money has stayed in the account for so long, or the money has been in the account for quite some time, it shows that the bank statement is actually credible. So this is one way of the visa officer assessing if your bank statement is credible, right? The money being able to stay in the account for quite some time. So like, let's say you don't even have the money in your account, it should stay a minimum of 4 weeks in your account for it to be determined as credible for you to be able to get your visa approved. Now, using a bank statement also must satisfy what we talked about in my previous video. It must be credible, it must be sufficient, the funds must be available to use when they need it for your tuition. The bank statement, for example, I talked about the 1.5 rule, right? For example, if you are having a sponsor or you are using someone's bank statement, the person earns $60,000 annual, and then you are saying that your deficit or your cost of attendance is $30,000. Okay, the person agrees to pay for it for you. Then the visa officer, I've told you in my previous video that your uncle or your auntie funding you is one overly used excuse at the visa interview. Once you say that your uncle or your auntie is funding for your visa, the visa officer then wants to know, is your uncle able to survive after they have sponsored you? And so quickly, when you say that your uncle is sponsoring you for $30,000 and they are left with $30,000 from their annual, the visa officer quickly wants to know that, do they have family? If they have family, why are they spending almost a half of their income on you? Do they have children? How many children that they have? I said it once again. I saw a transcript. Once a person said the uncle has 2 children, the uncle was earning 60,000. I think the deficit was 30,000. The person was denied. How can your uncle fund you half of their income when they have 2 children? Imagine one of their child is also in college. How much money are they paying? The money must be in the account for a minimum of 4 weeks. And then if you want to know the balance that should be on the bank statement, it should be 1.5 times the amount of deficit. Or if you don't have any funding at all, the amount of cost of attendance. Now let's also look at what you shouldn't do or what you should not use as a funding option. Avoid using stocks as a funding option. Why are we saying that? I did mention that using investments as a funding option is good, but how easily can the funds be liquidified? So if you are using stocks, we all know that stocks have a lot of fluctuations. If you have stocks in Ghana, if you have stocks here, or if someone has stocks here and you are using stocks fluctuate. So if I have 60,000 stocks, it can go down as low as 20,000 tomorrow, right? So stocks is not something that you should use as a form of funding in your visa interview. Real estate valuation documents. Real estate cannot easily be liquidified if they need the funds to fund for your education, so you do not want to use that. I bet you have learned something new in this video, that you know the amount of money that should be on the bank statement before you apply for you go for your visa interview, and how long the money should be in there, what you should not use to as a form of funding in your visa interview. This is Excel with Emmy. On this channel we talk about career, education, lifestyle. If these are subjects that are of interest to you, do not forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on notification for this channel, and I'll meet you in my next video. Bye.